Hey everybody, so for the guys who are into lights and electrical stuff, I have a question for you. The utility pole right here, which came with the property, it has a underground wire. I think it's a 14 gauge wire that runs from the pole itself down here on the bottom to the barn, and I'll show you in a second. And when it was run by the original owner. So it runs from down here. You can see the wire right here, and it goes into a sheathed cable. So it was done professionally, and it runs to the corner of the barn right there. And originally it would run from the barn right there to the workshop lights and also the workshop ceiling fans. And the circuit breaker kept popping all the time, partially, or mainly, because the fuses or the breakers were 50 years old, and they just couldn't hold a current anymore, so they kept popping. Replaced the breakers, and I put the correct ones in there. I put 15 amp breakers. The original ones were 20 amp. 20 amp breakers for a 14 gauge cable is just too high of a breaker. I don't know why the original owner did that, but I put the proper 15 amp breakers in there. And also, what's really annoying is anytime something out here would happen, if something ever did happen, it would shut off the lights for the barn, the workshop. So I ran a dedicated wire from that corner, where it comes out of the ground, and it runs along the wall right here on the inside of the workshop, and it goes to the fuse panel, and the fuse panel to another breaker, a 15 amp breaker. So now the lights inside the workshop are on their own breaker, and the power going to this utility pole is on its own breaker. And this utility pole also splits over to the horse walk-in, which you've seen on my other videos. I have two sodium lights over there, high pressure sodium. Now, I also installed a GFCI outlet, because it's nice to have, electrical outlets when you're kind of far from the house, especially around in this section where the water is, which I use, to water the horses or give water for the horses. And it's also nice to have an electrical outlet because in the wintertime, you don't want the water to freeze, so you use heaters. So it was perfect to put an outlet right there. And I did it like in fall, and I had no problems. Nothing popped, none, whatever. But now that it's getting to be summertime, this breaker, the GFCI outlet, has popped 4 times in the last 4 nights, or 4 days, I should say. It doesn't pop at nighttime, though. When the lights are on, it runs perfectly fine, no issues. But when you wake up, later in the day, I've noticed the breaker, or the GFCI, is always popped. So the lights don't come on anymore at nighttime because there's no power going from the GFCI to the switches to the light. So I don't know why it keeps popping, and it only does it in the daytime. Now, it hasn't rained here in over a month now. It rained, we had like one big huge rainstorm where it was like a monsoon. It was like waterfalls everywhere. I've never seen that much rain before, but that was like a month ago. As you can see, I'm having to water the grass now every day because of the drought that we're having here, and to keep the grass growing for the horses. But I don't know why this keeps popping. It can't be from me watering the grass. It's not enough water to even soak down the 2 or 3 feet that this is buried into. And on top of that, when it rained, it never popped breakers before, especially when we had that monsoon. It didn't pop anything. So I don't think it has anything to do with this. And there was one day that I didn't water, and the outlet still pops. And what's weird is nothing is on. It's just running from the breaker to the corner right here, buried underneath, to the GFCI, and then from the GFCI to the switches. Now, when the switches are off, there is no power going up here, and there is no power going from this wire to the walk-in. So I can eliminate the walk-in. I can eliminate this. This is brand new wire right here. There is no chewed wire. I can eliminate this wire. But from here to the barn, I don't know if there's a fault or a ground somewhere in here that's gone bad. Or my theory is right up here, there's sun at midday, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, going all the way down. So at the peak of the daytime, the sun is right there, and it beams straight down onto the GFCI outlet. Now, I'm wondering, especially on the hotter days we've been having where it's 85, 90 degrees, and the high UV that we've been having, is the sun heating up the GFCI to where it's tripping. I looked it up online. I can't find anything that says the GFCI outlets pop when they get warm, but that doesn't mean that they don't. So the only thing I can think of doing is possibly putting a shield of some sort over top of this, like making a little box. I don't know, out of metal or something like that. Maybe not metal so it doesn't rust, but something to put it over here to keep the sun off of it. Of course, it's going to still get hot on the inside, but I don't think it'll get as hot with the shield on it. So I'm wondering what you guys think. Do you think I should try that? Do you have any idea if heat can actually pop a GFCI outlet? Because normally the outdoor GFCI outlets are like, you know, covered in your porch, or, you know, the other ones that I have, there's one over here I installed on the other side of the building. There's another one down the hill, but those are all in the shade. Especially being on this side, the sun is over here, not over here, so it's not hot over there. But it is really hot right here. So again, without dragging the video out, can the sun pop a GFCI outlet? Because clearly it's not popping at nighttime. It only pops during the daytime. And during the day, there is no draw on any of this stuff. There is power, obviously, going 24/7 from here, or sorry, from the barn to the GFCI. But other than that, nothing is being used during the daytime. So why is it popping in the daytime and it works fine at night? It worked fine all winter, all fall last year. But again, this is the first summer that this thing has been hooked up since I installed it last fall. So I'm kind of curious. I actually am starting to think that heat can actually pop these GFCI outlets, and that's the reason why this keeps popping. And it's very frustrating because when I come home at nighttime, it's pitch black because the lights are off, you know, other than the sodium lights that are on around the property, but it's pitch black right here, and I don't really like that. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks.